Hi, my name is Moase Einstein. I'm presenting my final speech, the persuasive speech for my communications class, 45. This is my audience, this is my aunt, Auntie Sarah, this is my friend Kawiede, and this is my brother, Andrew. In 2018, the BBC News website published an article on an American televangelist called Pastor Jesse Duplantis. Mr. Duplantis wanted his followers to give him $54 million to buy his fourth private jet. Mr. Duplantis argued that if Jesus was alive today, he would not be riding on donkeys. He would be flying on airplanes to go all over the world and spread the gospel. Now, I'm not arguing that Mr. Duplantis was right or wrong. I'm just trying to shed some light on his argument. Actions they're influenced by beliefs, but beliefs are invisible, they're unseen, but yet they have you can feel their presence in actions. For example, beliefs could make things like harmful superstitions come to life, evasion of repercussions, or influence inhumane activities. I think that if you believe something, you should be able to defend it. Just like how Pastor Jesse should be able to defend why he thinks Jesus would have his fourth private jet. I'm going to define a superstition as an idea that is passed on from person to person, but it has not been critically thought of. Normally, people attach superstition to something supernatural to explain a world event like 3 times is a charm, or the sun actually revolves around the earth. And they sound harmful when they are said, but when they follow actions, they can lead to a lot of pain, a lot of terrible actions. For example, Galileo was imprisoned by the Catholic Church when he suggested that actually the earth is the one that rotates around the sun. The Catholic Church could not have him interfering with their beliefs and what they were trying to propagate to their masses, so they had him imprisoned. That is an extreme case, but on a daily basis, superstitions can influence small things to make bad things happen. There's a belief that if you do something good will happen to you. If you do something bad will happen to you. The law of karma. But there are some people who do not get karma. Like in 2020, Trump's inaction to do some things made other people indirectly die. If he had done just a few things or big things, if he had not withheld some information or bought some things, so many people would not have died like they did. Biden was quoted in very many newsrooms, like the CNN newsroom. He was saying that if Trump had done his job, the schools would have been opened at the time. At the time, there was still the lockdown and schools were still closed. And he did not get punishment for it. He got a little bit of like a slap on the wrist, but he was never like imprisoned or made to pay for the things that he did. Somebody could have argued that he was just there for a publicity stunt for his businesses because he was in debt. Beliefs can also allow people to justify doing terrible things like genocide or the Holocaust. In Rwanda, there was a genocide between the Hutus and the Tutsis, and so many people died. At the Holocaust, more than 6 million people died. Now, they had vision bearers like Hitler for the Holocaust and maybe the kings of the tribes for the Hutsis and the Tutsis. So those people's ideologies might have clashed, but the people who suffered were the ones who were down. The soldiers, the people who were shot, the Hutus and Tutsis who died. Not every single one of those people could have defended the beliefs of their kings or their rulers at the time, like Hitler. I would go as far as to say that some people were only doing those things because they had been given orders to do those things. So if they had critically thought about what they were doing, what their leaders were trying to tell them, if they had critically thought about what propaganda their leaders were trying to put out, I would argue that not very many people had died, if not at all. Now granted, critical thinking is hard. It's expensive, it costs so much energy, you need time to slow down and collect thoughts. And that time is not readily available to everyone. That's why some people watch news. Some people subscribe to CNN or Fox News. But there are people who are counting on the fact that you do not have time to go and critically pick out information and choose the best depending on the evidence that you have gathered from the world. So they will do that for you. Your politicians, your pastors, your leaders, they will create the echo chambers so that they can put their propaganda in whatever message that they are telling you. And if you do not critically think about what they are saying, the propaganda will be passed down to you. Now, I think there is warranted reason to necessitate critical thinking. If you believe in something, surely you must be able to defend it so that we can cut off things like bad ideas from echo chambers or people thinking that karma for sure will get him, destroying harmful superstitions or stopping things like genocide, because we can all agree that we do not want genocide to happen. Hard as it is, the benefits critical thinking gives outweigh the demerits, outweigh the time. The more you think about your beliefs, the less likely you are to believe lies. Like, karma will get him, or that O.J. Simpson didn't do it. So, go into the world and ask questions, question everything.